So have you ever been on a first date and you find yourself feeling nervous, your hands start getting sweaty, or maybe in the middle of a movie theater where your heart starts racing, your blood pressure is pumping very fast, your mind starts racing? That is what you would call stress. And surprisingly enough, when we all think about stress, we think of it as this thing that threatens our well-being. But when you really think about it, stress does play a very important role in our lives. However, when you are faced with stress for an extended period of time, that's what you would call chronic stress. When you find yourself in a place of chronic stress, your body will produce warning signs for you to let you know that something is out of balance. And when that is the case, that is when you should really be concerned. Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Melissa and I help people navigate through their mental health journey. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys 10 warning signs of chronic stress. So without further ado, let's just jump right into the video. So what is stress, right? Stress is a part of our fight or flight system, and our stress response kicks into gear when our internal environment and our external environment are out of balance. And as I've mentioned in the beginning of this video, there's two types of stress. You have acute stress, which is when, your blood starts racing, your blood pressure goes up, the adrenaline kicks in, you suddenly have this burst of energy. Back in the day, this might present itself when we're in the middle of hunting during caveman days and a saber-toothed tiger is around the corner. That's when our stress response kicks in because that's what's needed for us to run and survive from situations like that. But unfortunately, in modern day times, we're not running from things like this. We might find ourselves in acute stress as a server when the flow of the restaurant starts getting busy, or you're about to give a presentation in the middle of a class. These are normal acute stress responses. And then you have chronic stress, and chronic stress is when your body is in a state of fight or flight mode for an extended period of time. And when this is happening, your body is constantly pumping out this stress hormone called cortisol. Cortisol, when there's too much in the body, and because the body is deeply interconnected, when there's too much of that, everything starts to shut down. If these signs that I'm about to share with you guys are not addressed, you are at very high risk for developing physical illnesses such as cancer, high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, and even mental illnesses like depression and anxiety. So then how does stress impact us holistically, right? That is where I'm going to get into the 10 signs leading up to that with you guys. The first warning signs of chronic stress is experiencing depression and anxiety. Anytime we're in a chronic state of stress, right, we are responding to our environment mentally, emotionally, physically, and even spiritually. And so when we perceive stress mentally, our mind perceives it as a threat to our well-being, and it perceives it as the inability to cope and be able to meet our basic needs, and you're not able to produce the normal hormones like serotonin. That's the hormone that provides elevated mood. That's why you're feeling low and lethargic all the times, and you might have constant flares. And then you have anxiety. The anxiety response is a stress response because your anxiety is letting you know that there's something out of balance. So the second sign is short temper and irritability. And this is definitely something that I can relate to as well, because there was a period in time where I was in a chronic state of stress and I didn't even know it. My personal relationships was suffering because I found myself in a headspace of constantly getting really annoyed easily over very, very petty things. And I didn't know what was wrong with me. So the third sign is staying organized, having an inability to concentrate, or remembering things. And this is also very normal too, because when you're in a chronic state of stress and you're also experiencing depression at the same time, you're not able to focus. Like, you might find yourself not being able to have sharp focus and mental clarity. And then the fourth sign is more headaches than usual. The physiological components of stress causes our body and minds to shut down. You might find yourself feeling exhausted, and that's where the headaches can come through. The fifth sign is a very low quality of sleep. You might have difficulty falling asleep and you might have difficulty staying asleep. The sixth sign is waking up tired and not feeling well rested. This is also something that I can definitely relate to as well. Oftentimes when I'm in a chronic state of stress and I'm going through it with depression, in addition to that, I find myself waking up even after sleeping through the night and getting all of my hours in, still feeling tired, and then I end up taking multiple naps throughout the day. Number 7 is changes in eating patterns. You might find yourself craving a lot of sugar or maybe a lot more salty foods, and that's because oftentimes when you're feeling stressed, you have this need to seek out things outside of yourself where you can relieve feelings of stress, and those are things that we turn to, like comfort foods, because comfort foods makes us feel better. But in the end, that's not necessarily healthy, because then you might find yourself engaging in unhealthy ways, and in return that ends up making things worse, because then you stress out about the bad habits that you're engaging in. It adds even more stress to the stress that's top of the stress that you're currently dealing with. Number 8 is reoccurring cold and minor illnesses. This is something that I can definitely agree to, because I have a friend who I know personally who every time she's in a state of stress when she's back in school, she's always getting sick, and she always has some sort of illnesses that randomly come up. And that's because when you're in a chronic state of stress and all the cortisol, like again, that's circulating through your body, it's suppressing your immune system, and your immune system isn't able to function properly, and that's why you find yourself getting sick more often. And then the 9th one is muscle aches or soreness. You might find yourself having lower back pain. You might find yourself feeling sore and tight in certain parts throughout your body. That's part of the physiological components of the stress response. So the 10th one is irregular periods. Your reproductive system isn't able to function properly because of all the cortisol in your body. And so then the hormones that you would usually able to produce is off of balance, and that is what can cause irregular periods. And although it is not easy to recognize when stress has become a threat to your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being, it's very important to start paying attention to some of the ways that your body and mind tries to communicate that with you. So I'd love to know, let me know down in the comments below, are you experiencing at least one or more of these chronic signs of stress? If you are, then that means it is time for you to start making some changes and start addressing these issues that you might be facing. And if you want to dive deeper into some of the ways where you can start reducing stress in your life, let me know. I have provided my information for you down in the description box below. If this is truly something that you feel like is hindering your health and hindering you from living a good quality of life, especially now during these times, I want to invite you to book a call with me. I want to invite you to hop on a call to really address some of the things that you're currently struggling with, so that we can come together and create a plan of action for you to work towards and start taking the first steps and actions needed to finally overcome stress and finally feel a sense of relief. So that is it. That is all that I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. With all that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace, much love, and many blessings to you.